I never imagined that a single sentence could unravel my entire world in the blink of an eye. But there I stood, in the heart of our cozy suburban home in Chicago, watching my mother-in-law, Margaret, tear me down with a venomous grin plastered across her face. It was my husband Ryan's 35th birthday bash, the kind of gathering where laughter should have filled the air. But instead, the room hung heavy with anticipation as she pulled me forward like a trophy on display. Mr. Harrington, allow me to introduce my daughter-in-law, Emily Margaret cooed, her tone laced with saccharine poison that made my stomach twist. She's presently an unemployed deadbeat and a worthless spouse who can't even hold down a basic gig. The words slammed into me like a freight train, leaving me breathless, my face flushing hot as the silence swallowed the room whole. Every eye in the place locked onto us, the chatter dying out like a flame snuffed by wind. I felt exposed, raw, like I'd been stripped bare in front of strangers and friends alike. My cheeks burned with shame, my body frozen in place, unable to muster even a whisper of defense. The humiliation clawed at my insides, a deep-seated wound reopening from months of her subtle jabs, now exploding into full view. Mr. Harrington, Margaret's superior at the prestigious marketing firm where she reigned as vice president, towered over us, impeccable in his tailored suit, his sharp eyes widening in disbelief. He was the picture of corporate success, the man who could make or break careers with a nod. I wanted to vanish, to sink through the polished hardwood floors and escape this nightmare. But then, in a twist that stole the air from my lungs, his expression hardened into something icy, unforgiving. His jaw clenched, and when he spoke, it was with a measured calm that carried the weight of thunder. "Margaret," he said, each syllable deliberate, "you're terminated. Effective immediately." The room detonated into pandemonium. Margaret's complexion drained to a ghostly pallor, her mouth gaping like she'd been gut-punched. Whispers erupted from the corners, guests exchanging wide-eyed glances as the shock rippled through like wildfire. What?" she stammered, her voice cracking under the pressure. "Mr. Harrington, you can't possibly mean—" "I mean precisely that," he cut in, his tone slicing through the chaos with surgical precision. "Pack up your desk first thing Monday. Security will see you out." I stood there, reeling, my mind a whirlwind of disbelief. Just seconds ago, I'd been the victim, the punchline to her cruel game. Now, the script had flipped so violently it left me dizzy. Margaret, the queen of condescension, the woman who'd chipped away at my self-worth for months, looked like she might crumble right there on our Persian rug. Ryan bolted across the room from where he'd been chatting with his old buddies from the accounting firm, his face a storm cloud of fury and confusion. "Mom, what the hell did you just say?" he demanded, his eyes darting between us, the betrayal etching lines into his brow. "Did you really just trash Emily like that in front of everyone?" Margaret tried to rally, forcing out a brittle chuckle that echoed hollow in the tension. "Oh, Ryan, honey, it was just a bit of ribbing. Mr. Harrington gets it right, sir. Just harmless fun." But Harrington wasn't buying her act. He shook his head, his gaze unwavering. "There's nothing amusing about cruelty like that, Margaret. It's vile. It's unprofessional. And it's beneath anyone who works for me." The guests shifted uncomfortably, some already edging toward their coats. The party's vibe shattered beyond repair. Margaret's co-workers averted their eyes, their whispers turning to murmurs of embarrassment. Nobody wanted to be tied to this sinking ship. I finally found my voice, though it emerged as a fragile thread. "Thank you," I murmured to Harrington, the words tasting like relief mixed with salt from unshed tears. "You didn't have to step in like that." He turned to me, his stern facade softening into something almost paternal. "Oh, but I did," he replied quietly. "Nobody deserves that kind of disrespect, especially not under their own roof." Margaret, desperate now, clutched at straws. "Mr. Harrington, please, let's talk this over in private. 8 years of loyalty to the firm. Surely we can sort this out." I was stressed. "I didn't mean the calls made," he interjected, his finality like a door slamming shut. "Anyone who'd publicly degrade their own family isn't fit to carry my company's name." As Harrington grabbed his coat and headed for the door, Margaret wheeled on me, her eyes blazing with raw hatred. For the first time, the mask had slipped completely, revealing the bitterness underneath. She blamed me. Of course me, the one she'd tormented. The party dissolved into a hasty exodus, guests mumbling awkward farewells, dodging eye contact like it was contagious. Ryan stood between us, torn, his loyalty fracturing in real time. But as I watched Margaret's empire of arrogance collapse, a quiet spark ignited in my chest, not triumph. Exactly. But the faint hope that this wreckage might clear the path for something real. Something unbroken. 3 months earlier, my life had begun its slow unraveling on a crisp Tuesday morning in our high-rise office downtown. I'd slipped into my favorite power suit, the charcoal gray one that always made me feel invincible, for what I thought was just another strategy meeting. But my boss's voice over the intercom carried an unusual edge. Soft and hesitant. "Emily, could you step into my office for a quick chat?" My pulse quickened as I made the trek down the corridor, each step echoing like a countdown. Sitting across from him, I watched him fidget with a manila folder, avoiding my gaze. "I'm truly sorry, Emily," he finally said, pushing the papers toward me. "The firm's downsizing, cutting 25% from the creative team. Your position's been eliminated." Just like that. For years of grinding through deadlines, crafting award-winning ad campaigns, and nurturing client ties vanished into thin air. The sting wasn't just the job loss, it was the hollow ache of failure settling in my bones. That night, breaking the news to Ryan was like ripping off a bandage soaked in acid. He pulled me close on our leather couch, his arms a temporary shield as sobs racked my body. "We'll get through this, he murmured, stroking my hair. "You're brilliant, they'll be lining up to hire you." But lurking in the shadows was Margaret, who swooped in the very next evening with a store-bought pie and a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Heard about your little hiccup, dear," she said, plunking the dessert on our granite countertop like she was staking claim. "Ryan mentioned it over lunch." "Hiccup?" That's how she framed my career imploding. "It's just a bump, Margaret," I replied, forcing steadiness into my voice. "I'm polishing my portfolio and networking already." She'd sked. That signature sound of disapproval. "Well, the market's brutal out there, especially for folks pushing 30 without that fancy MBA. Ryan wandered in just then, catching the tail end. "Mom, Emily's got a solid degree and killer experience. She'll bounce back." "Of course, sweetie," Margaret cooed, patting his cheek. "I'm just being realistic. Maybe this is a nudge to focus on being the rock at home instead of chasing corporate ladders." Her words lodged like splinters under my skin, but I swallowed them down. Ryan shot her a mild frown but let it slide. As always, that set the tone for the weeks ahead. Her visits became ambushes, each laced with fresh barbs about my joblessness. "Any bites on those applications yet?" She'd probe with feigned worry. "Perhaps aim lower. Not everyone's cut out for the big leagues like me." She'd name-drop other women, spouses of Ryan's pals with thriving careers or fat paychecks, hammering home the unspoken. I was dead weight. Watching Ryan fumble his defenses hurt worst. He'd mumble something placating, but Margaret twisted her knives into helpful tips, playing the victim if called out. I'm only looking out for you too, she'd sniff. Eyes misting on cue. As days blurred into months, her poison seeped in. I started doubting myself, wondering if I really was the failure she painted. The tipping point hit when Margaret floated canceling Ryan's party. With the financial strain and all, she said during one uninvited drop-by, eyeing our budget-friendly decor. And Emily might not be up to hosting on her dime right now. That's when Ryan finally grew a spine. The party's on. Mom. Emily's poured her heart into planning it. Fine. If you say so, she relented with a dramatic sigh. But let me pitch in, I'll bring some of my exec friends. Could be a networking goldmine for Emily. Someone might throw her a bone. I should have vetoed it. Screamed that we didn't need her charity or traps. But exhaustion had worn me thin. I just nodded. Appreciate it. Margaret. Her responding smile was predatory. The kind that said she'd already won a war I hadn't realized we were waging. In hindsight, that was her plotting my downfall, 3 months of erosion. Priming me for a public execution at the party. Surrounded by her power circle. I walked right into it. Blind to the ambush. The morning of Ryan's bash dawned with a lead weight in my gut. Sleep evading me as nightmares of mishaps played on loop. Ryan was in the shower, belting out some pop tune. Oblivious to my spiraling dread. I stared into my closet for ages. Outfits blurring through my anxiety filter, too flashy. Too drab. Too much. I landed on a sleek navy dress Ryan loved. Figuring if disaster struck, at least I'd face it looking put together. Margaret barged in at noon. Hours early. Using her emergency key like it was her front door. Yoo-hoo. Darlings, she trilled. Surveying our setup with that judgmental squint. You're ahead of schedule, I noted. Fighting back annoyance. Figured you could use a hand, she shot back. Already shoving our armchair aside. Good call on my part, this layout's all wrong. Before I could object, she was redecorating like a tornado, end tables relocated. My meticulously arranged centerpieces dismantled with more TSKS. Margaret. It was fine as is, I protested weakly. You gave it your all, she dismissed. Not glancing up. But for upscale folks like my crowd, it's about polish. You'll get it once you're back in the game. Ryan descended. Fresh and in the button-down I'd gifted him. Mom. Bit early. Huh. Just lending Emily a boost, she beamed. Pecking his cheek. She's been so dedicated to this shindig. Adorable how she's stepping up. Job or no. There it was, the veiled stab. Sugar-coated. Ryan's brow furrowed. But he stayed silent. As per usual. For hours. She commandeered, swapped my playlist for mature tunes. Critiqued my charcuterie as quaint, even nitpicked my dress. Navy's so somber. Han, she appraised. Got anything perkier? Mr. Harrington's picky about appearances. I'm good with this, I asserted. One rare pushback. She shrugged. Your call. Though impressions count in our world. Harrington built his empire respecting go-getters. Her hints escalated, praising Harrington's rags-to-riches tale. Stressing how he valued self-reliant partners. Not anchors. Each dig pricked deeper. Leaving me raw by guest arrival time. Ryan caught me white-knuckling the counter in the kitchen. You all right? Jittery, I confessed. Your mom's crew is so elite. And here I am. You're incredible, he insisted. Spinning me around. Don't let her rattle you. Anyone'd be lucky to have you. I clung to his words. But as the doorbell chimed, Margaret's scheming grin loomed in my mind like a shark circling its prey. Ryan's pals arrived first, his college crew. Mark and his wife Sarah. Plus Jake and his partner Lisa, folks who knew me. Who made me feel seen. For a fleeting second, hope flickered that the night might sail smooth. Then Margaret's entourage rolled up in luxury sedans. dripping in labels, toting high-end vintages that screamed status. She greeted them like royalty, her pitch rising with each hug. "Come in. Make yourselves at home," she'd effuse, name-dropping Ryan's firm title while reducing me to Emily, Ryan's better half. No nod to my past gigs, just the wife tag. When Sarah's hubby, a surgeon, showed, Margaret broadcast his creds relentlessly. Dr. Ellis was just sharing about his clinic expansion. Nothing beats dual-income power couples. The arrow aimed straight at me, my face heating as Sarah shot me a pitying glance, diverting with compliments on my dips. "These are killer. Emily, your recipe." "She's got oodles of time for kitchen experiments lately," Margaret interjected, her laugh grating. Sweet when homemaking takes center stage. The pattern held for the hour, my efforts praised, only for her to undercut with unemployment reminders. Vital for both halves to pull weight, she'd muse amid job tales. I ducked to the kitchen repeatedly, but she'd reel me back. "Emily, regale Ms. Patel on that baking workshop. Hobbies keep one busy, right?" The low blow came when Lisa mentioned job hunting post-grad. "Thrilling. What's your angle?" Margaret gushed. "Digital strategy. I snagged my master's last spring." "Impressive credentials." "Emily dabbled in ads too." "Didn't you?" All eyes on me. "Yeah. At Sterling Media for 4 years. Till the layoffs," Margaret pounced. "Faux sympathetic. Tough arena without that extra degree." Lisa squirmed. "You'll land on your feet soon." "Fingers crossed," Margaret dramatized. 3 months idle, hoping for any port in the storm. Ryan, engrossed in sports chat, missed it all. I seethed internally. Trapped, causing a scene would feed her narrative of my instability. As twilight deepened, her digs sharpened, rants on entitled millennials expecting handouts, sermons on accepting one's lane. Guests fidgeted, but silence reigned. At 8:30 sharp, the bell rang. Margaret transformed. Posture ramrod. Smile authentic for once. "That'll be Mr. Harrington," she proclaimed, primping. "Folks, meet my CEO, the visionary behind Harrington Strategies." My gut plummeted. This was her crescendo, the build-up to my takedown amid her elite. As she ushered him in, her eyes gleamed with malice. She'd primed the pump all night. Now for the flood. Harrington entered with commanding aura, silver fox hair, bespoke attire, exuding boardroom gravitas. "Alexander, thrilled you made it," Margaret fawned. Coat in hand. "Ryan's over the moon." "Glad to join the festivities," he replied cordially. She paraded him among peers, soaking up the prestige. Ryan shook hands solidly. "Appreciate you coming." "Sir, means a ton. Your mom's sung your praises often, proud of your climb at Deloitte." I lingered in shadows, dreading the spotlight, but Margaret's gaze pinned me. "Mr. Harrington," she boomed, drawing him near. "Someone special to introduce." The room hushed as they approached, my heart hammering. "Been eager for this," she theatricalized, gripping my arm bruisingly. This was it, her months-long vendetta peaking. "Mr. Harrington, meet my daughter-in-law, Emily." I mustered a please to, but she barreled on, voice amplifying for maximum impact. "She's currently an unemployed deadbeat and a worthless spouse who can't even hold down a basic gig." The bomb dropped, silencing all. A fork clattered. Sarah inhaled sharply. Humiliation crashed over me, tears pricking, pain visceral. But Harrington's face morphed, not amusement, but Arctic disdain. "Margaret," he intoned, voice low but resonant. "You're terminated." Shockwaves hit. She blanched, babbling. "What?" "You can't pack up Monday. Security's on standby." Chaos ensued, murmurs, averted gazes. Ryan stormed over. "Mom, How could you? Her plea, just teasing. Ryan. Harrington, cruelty's no joke. In that instant, her throne toppled, and I glimpsed the cost of her betrayal, a mirror to my own silent suffering. The aftermath hung thick, Margaret's facade shattering as she pleaded, hands trembling. Mr. Harrington. 8 years, let's hash this out alone. I was off my game final, he decreed. Public family sabotage? Not on my watch. Ryan erupted, Mom. What's your deal? Trashing Emily like trash. I was motivating her. Sweetie, the hard truth sometimes motivating? You demolished her. Guests bailed, family stuff, MS. Ellis muttered. Bolting. Margaret's circle ghosted her, panic etching her features. Stay, this is a mix-up. Harrington. Coding up. Softened toward me. Sorry you endured that, no one merits such venom here. Thanks, you went above, I whispered. Had to, my firm's about dignity. One last barb, Margaret. Family treatment reveals character, yours fails. Post-departure. Stragglers fled soon. Just us 3. Margaret crumpled on the sofa. Defeated, then lashed, your fault. Emily, if you weren't such a leech. Ryan roared, enough. You earned this poison. For years. He'd mediated. Now. The dam broke. 6 months on. I thrived as marketing lead at Harrington's. Skyline view from my corner office. Proposals stacking up. The offer came swiftly post-party, Harrington's personal call. You're poised that night? That's the grit I need. Interviews vetted me fairly, the role. With a bump in pay. Rebuilt me. Margaret? Crumbled, job hunt stalled by whispers of her fiasco. Sold her Lakeview condo. Scraped by in a dingy walk-up. Bridges burned. Ryan cut aid amid her blame games. Choose. Son, me or that wrecker. I'm done propping you, he declared. Our bond strengthened. Patricia Free talks of kids surfaced. Untainted. The shock? Margaret's coffee plea 3 months in, haggard. She mumbled. Sorry, unforgivable. Jealous of your hold on Ryan. Projected my fears. Flawed. Excusing. But a crack in her armor. No instant pardon, she added. Just miss my boy. Pity stirred, she'd paid dearly for her control freakery. We'll try boundaries, I offered. No more toxicity. Now. Promotion in hand. Calling Ryan. I grinned, her betrayal's fallout? A phoenix rise. Justice compounded.